So the last thing I want to tell you is it's about tiny little changes. Tiny little changes. Tiny changes lead to remarkable results. And what you guys are going to get, you guys should also read James Clear's book, Atomic Habits. I had him on my show. He's incredible. But the idea is that what we often do is we underestimate what's possible because we bite off more than we can chew. We're like, oh my God, I'll never be able to do this for a year, for 5 years. Forget it. What can you do today? Right? And every time you vote for a little optimism or to show up for the class, even if you didn't do your homework, whatever it is, when you vote for the habit that puts you in alignment with your greatness, you're voting for your future. You're voting for the vision. You're voting for yourself. And you don't need it to be a consistent every single thing you do all day long. But the more votes you have towards who you want to be, the more things you do, the more actions you take, it adds up. It adds up. And I said this to you before, but I want you to write it down. 2 degrees. I want you to write down 2 degrees, 2 degrees, 2 degrees, 2 degrees, because you're all going to go through this process and you're all going to go through it differently. And one thing I want to say to you right now is do not measure yourself against somebody else's yardstick. It's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. That's like you going to a yoga class and seeing the girl in the front. You know that girl, Ashley. You know she's perfect. She always has the perfect Lululemon attire and she can do all the inversions and you hate her and you should hate her because she's annoying. But anyway, you look at Ashley and you're in the yoga class. I'm kidding. Wait, I made up Ashley and I still felt bad for telling you to hate her. But anyway, let's not hate fake Ashley. So Ashley's in the front and then you look at her and you go, my yoga practice sucks because look at Ashley. Look at Ashley. No, Ashley is showing up for her yardstick. For you that day, if you actually got into down dog, that might be huge growth for you. If you stretched and touched your toes a little further, that might actually be your boom. That's like huge expansion for you. Little micro changes that are your micro changes. So for some of you, you're going to go through this program and you're going to be like, oh my God, Kath, so-and-so in this program and so-and-so, they started businesses. She made $14,000 and I'm just barely figuring out my thing. That's okay too. You're going to get what you need. You came here for what you need and you're going to get it. In this program, you're going to get a lot of stuff. And if you started to change 2 degrees in the right direction, it's massive, 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 massive. If what you wind up getting through this process is a feeling of cracking open into an open-hearted vibration more, to taking a little bit more of a chance, to share your story, to be held by other people, to iterate a little bit, to be messy, to be in a process, awesome, awesome. I'm here for it. When you're on a boat, you're going to hear me say this again. When you're on a boat and you are headed out to sea, and let's say you are headed to this destination, you're headed to New Zealand. If you were to clock it and change that compass, change it 2 degrees, you're not going to kind of wind up in New Zealand. If you go out 50 miles, 100 miles, you're not even going to wind up in the same continent. You see that, right? You won't even wind up anywhere near where you were going to be because you shifted 2 degrees. So if I can get you on board with having compassion for yourself, with being in a state of curiosity, with cultivating more optimism, I'm going to throw a lot at you. It's going to be a fire hose. You're going to keep what you need. Trust yourself. Trust yourself to keep what you need. And if it starts going faster than you're like in week 7, you're like, now she wants me to do a podcast intro. Now she wants me to post this thing on Instagram. You get what you need from it. Don't judge yourself. You do the best that you can do. If you show up, if you just show up for this process and you take what you need, I promise there will be at least a 2 degree shift. For some of you, there'll be a 180 degree shift. And it doesn't matter. It's what you need, where you are. It's going to meet you where you are. And I want you to let it be enough.